Welcome. I would like to welcome you to another episode of the Unpopular Podcast. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Jalen Hunter. And if you would do me a favor, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so anything will help. But here's where we'll start. You know, they say you never know someone's true character or true nature until they reveal it. And then there's also a saying that goes, when someone shows you their true self, believe them. So it's been a week for Jon Gruden, man. In fact, let me not do that. Let me not downplay what's going on here. Because I think that's what that's what a lot of people are doing. They're downplaying what has gone on. So from I think 2010 to I think as close as 2018, Jon Gruden. So let's back up actually. The league is doing an investigation against the Washington football team. I think one of the assistants was doing something reckless, and I know FBI pretty much raided the stadium or raided the practice facility or something like that. And the FBI has been pretty much looking into the Washington football team's internal affairs. Dan Snyder, they've been looking at Dan Snyder for a minute, probably since that cheerleading incident, which, by the way, I don't think gets enough coverage as to what really happened with those cheerleaders and the I guess the sex scandal or whatever you want to call it. But while the Washington football team was being investigated, emails were dropped and emails were revealed from Jon Gruden. Jon Gruden had some racial emails, was talking about former players, or talking about a former player and a former African-American player, and pretty much talking about his physical features in reference to tires. For people that don't know, especially back in the day, African-Americans were talked about, were labeled, and one of the things that they were talked about was their lips. Historically, a lot of people talked about African Americans' lips being bigger, kind of talking about, or comparing them to monkeys' lips, comparing them to tires' lips or tires, because they're voluptuous, you could say. And Jon Gruden did that about a former player. Now, you thought that's what we thought it was. Now, yes, that was racial, and I understand. I understand people that kind of were rushing to his defense, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it got worse. New York Times article comes out. There was multiple emails when he was saying racial things. He was saying homophobic things. He was talking about Roger Goodell. He was talking about women in a derogatory way. So what came of all this is Jon Gruden then resigned. He resigned, I think, Monday night. Right before Monday Night Football, actually, he resigned. The thing that gets me, and the thing that I've never really understood, let me not say I don't understand. I understand, I just don't know why it happens so frequently, is the people that rush to people's defense when stuff like this happens. Like, oh man, he was never like that, or he didn't have a racist bone in his body, or this is not him. These emails were typed by him, sent to other people. This was his true character. And it's funny, man. What's funny about this is the apology that we got from Jon Gruden. I'm not going to be answering questions now. People know I don't have a racist bone in my body. I didn't mean to offend anybody. I love everybody. I don't want to be a distraction. A lot of people try to separate the personal life from the coach or personal life from the player. But when you do stuff like this, it's damn near impossible to do that. How do you expect to be? I mean, think about the Raiders right now. The Raiders, majority African American, and they also have a gay player. How do you think a gay player would feel when their coach is spewing homophobic rhetoric in emails and racial rhetoric in emails? Now, a lot of people say, "Well, Jay, this happened almost 11 years ago. This happened in 2010 or 2011. People can change. You know, people should change. You should give them the benefit of the doubt." First and foremost, I don't need to give him the benefit of the doubt because it happened. He admitted it happened. It had his name, Jon.Gruden at ESPN.com. Like, it was him. So I don't need to give him the benefit of the doubt. And yes, people can change. But you got to realize this was over a long period. I think over 7 to 8 years of full of emails that was just wild, man. And I think the part that's kind of confusing to me is people have warned people about Jon Gruden. I don't think there's one former player that like speaks glowingly of Jon Gruden. People killed Keyshawn Johnson back in the day for talking how he talked about Jon Gruden. Pretty much saying he's not a good guy. His interaction with players is not right. People killed Keyshawn Johnson for that. I don't know one player that speaks glowingly of a lot of, they say the same thing. They say he's a football guy. Cool. He's a football guy. But there's a difference between being a football guy and being a personable person. I'm a basketball guy. People that know me, I love basketball. I talk about basketball a lot. I watch basketball, whether it's the NBA, the WNBA, college basketball. I watch basketball a lot. I'm a basketball guy. I play basketball damn near every night. I'm a basketball guy. But that doesn't mean that me being a basketball guy, me being a basketball purist or a diehard basketball fan does not take away from my personality. You have to know how to respect people. That is something that I think people that spew racial rhetoric, racial comments, I think that they lose sight of the fact that you have to respect people. Cool. If that's how you feel about people, cool. I'm not here to tell anybody how to feel about somebody. I'm not here to tell anybody how to view something. I'm not here to say that. But what I am here to say is you have to be able to respect people. Because if you don't respect people, then what are you really doing? And for people that say you have to this happened before he was a head coach. Who cares? Who cares? Look, one thing that I do realize, and one thing that I think people realize a lot, is that championships forgive a lot of things. Or championships kind of winning skews a lot of things. People think Jon Gruden is just a a great head coach in NFL history, even though the one championship he won, he inherited a team that Tony Dungy built in the Bucks. Now, I will say that he did, the Tuck Rule year, I think that was 2001, I believe. That was, or 3, one of them years. I think it was 2001, 2003. That was a good coaching year with Charles Woodson and the Raiders, but Jon Gruden ain't that great of a coach. Like, you look at the Raiders now, and even though the Raiders do have a decent record, do you think that they're winning a championship? And that's not even. Let me stop. Let me not diverge. Let me not divulge this conversation. Let me bring it back to the what's most important is that he offended multiple people. Like he just unloaded the clip on a lot of different groups. And people are still coming to his defense, man. Talking about, it was back in the day. He's a changed person. Every time I've talked to him, that's the line that, oh man, every time I talk to him or every interaction I've had, he's never once shown any type of racism, or he's never shown that he has this in him. Bro, he's sending an emails, multiple emails. This is who he is. So the question now is this redeemable? Will he be able to work again? Is this a quote unquote death sentence? And I say no. I say no because of the history that we've seen. There's been multiple times where there's been somebody that's done something wild, but because they might have the right skin complexion, because they might have the right connections, in fact, mostly because they have the right skin complexion, mostly because they have the right connections, they get hired again. Do I think he's going to coach again? Probably not. But could I see him, getting picked back up on a station like a sports network? Probably. Because boy, oh boy, white people are not going to let they greats fall too far. And trust me, Jon Gruden ain't a great, but the way that people look at him, he's a great. Because he had a really cool, he won the championship with the Bucks, and he had a really cool show on ESPN. Boy, oh boy. And a lot of the people that aren't getting talked about enough, what else did they find in the Dan Snyder? Mina Kine said it beautifully. They need to. What else did they find in the investigation? Because they've been investigating Dan Snyder and the Washington football team for a minute. Do I think Jon Gruden deserved to be fired? Yes. Because I know if I was a player, I'd feel some type of way playing against or playing for somebody that has the views that he spewed. Now I'm not gonna reiterate. I'm not gonna say what he wrote because it was just inflammatory. But he was wilding. And of course they get in front of it by he's resigning. Which that's what they do. I'm gonna resign because resigning looks better than fired. So that when you go to your next job and say, no, I resigned, instead of, no, I got fired, it looks a little better. It looks a lot better. Again, the people that say that we need to separate the man from the coach, separate the comments from the man, I always say that's impossible because the same person that is coaching is the man. And the same man made these comments. A lot's being said about the Dave Chappelle special. And I see a lot of people comparing what Dave Chappelle said. And I think that there's a lot of credence in that, which is unfortunate. Not unfortunate that Dave Chappelle said it. Unfortunate that there is a lot of credence in what he's saying. And that at the top of the week, the story was he said something racial. He said something racial about a former player, about the, I think lips is like Michelin tires. It was racist, very racist. But I didn't hear too many people talking about him resigning or he should lose his job. People on social media was saying it, but you didn't really hear too many, media execs, media outlets, you didn't hear too many people say he should lose his job. It was wrong. Of course, you heard, the team, they should. I heard people say, the team, he was wrong. He's forgiven, even though he didn't really apologize. He said, I don't need to say it. I was wrong. I don't really need to answer the questions. I was wrong. I don't remember what I did 10 years ago. Like, I didn't mean to offend anybody, which is not an apology. I didn't mean to offend anybody is I'm not sorry, or I'm sorry for offending somebody. Those are two different things, by the way. But you didn't hear too many people say he should lose his job or he should resign because of the racial rhetoric that he said. But once you throw in the homophobia, disrespecting women, oh yeah, he got to go. He got to go. I just find that funny. I find that ironic, and I find it funny. Talk about comedic timing. But as we sit here today, Jon Gruden's out of a job. The emails are still circulating. And, I'm sure this is not the last that we've seen of Jon Gruden. Because like I said before, white people don't like to see they greats fall too far before they try to pick them up. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's move forward. Another big storyline has been Kyrie. Now, I'm getting tired talking about this, but it needs to be talked about. So, Kyrie is against getting the vaccine. I have no problem with anybody being against getting the vaccine. As far as I think you should get it, because I think that, it's there's been 700,000 plus people that have died from this virus, that is the coronavirus. And one way to help stop the spread or try to kill the virus is getting the vaccine. No, the vaccine doesn't completely kill the virus, but more people get the vaccine, I'm sure that it'll be a lot better for us. But again, and I've said this time and time again, everyone has a choice. I can't tell you what to do with your body. I can't tell you what to put in your body. I can't tell you what's best for you and your body. I just have my opinion. Everyone has theirs. And Kyrie has decided not to get the vaccine. Now, was this going to change? I don't know. But at this very moment, he's not getting the vaccine. And that is causing problems. That's causing problems in his workplace, which is basketball, which is the Brooklyn Nets. He is unable to play in home games. That's just how it is. The Nets, I guess if you're an essential worker or some type of worker in Brooklyn, you have to be vaccinated. You can't work in a public place, and I believe that the Barclays Center is a public place, and not be vaccinated. He's not vaccinated. That means he can't play in games. Or at least home games, meaning that at best he would be in he can play in away games. The problem is, as you're seeing, more teams are starting to do or more places are starting to be like that, like the San Francisco and Golden State Warriors. You can't play in Golden State. I think Chicago is trying to do the same thing. I know Washington is trying to do the same thing. So his availability will be very sporadic if he does not get this vaccine. And Sean Marks came out, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, and said that Kyrie Irving will not be able to play or not be able to practice with the team, not be able to play until he is able to be a full participant. Meaning pretty much saying he cannot come back if he does not get the vaccine, because the only way that he could be a full participant is two things. A, he gets the vaccine, or B, Brooklyn and the United States changes their rules for Kyrie, which I very much doubt. again, I'm not here to tell people what to do with your body. I'm not. That's not. I have no right to do that. Same thing with the abortion law. I don't see how I don't see how people feel that they have the right to tell somebody else, especially a woman, what to do with their body. You wouldn't expect me to come and tell you what to do with your finances. You wouldn't expect me to come and tell you what to do with your family. Yet, I'm supposed to be able, or you're supposed to be able to tell me, or no, we're supposed to tell women what to do with their bodies. That's neither here nor let's bring it back to Kyrie. How do I? Players can be headaches. Players have all different personalities, all different needs. That can be it. Players can be headaches. I'm sure Tom Brady was a headache. That's Tom Brady. He's the greatest of all time. Players can be headaches. Terrell Owens, Randy Moss. I'm sure LeBron James at times can be headaches. But they're unified. They're collectively greats in their sport. What I'm saying is this. There are certain headaches that will be tolerated and won't be tolerated. And let's just call a spade a spade. I'm sure if Kyrie wasn't as great as Kyrie was or is, we wouldn't be talking about this. This would not be a story. Hell, we talked about Andrew Wiggins for a day. Now, yes, Andrew Wiggins, to his credit, did get the vaccine because, he was looking to miss out on $50 or $15 million. And of course, that is, he has not made as much money as Kyrie. So that, that would definitely hurt his pockets and hurt his family. So he acquiesced and got the vaccine. Good for him. But I promise you, if Kyrie was not as good as Kyrie was, we wouldn't be talking about this as much as we talking about this. Also, if Kyrie wasn't as much of a central point as he is to the Brooklyn Nets winning a championship, we definitely wouldn't be talking about this. There are multiple people in this league, right? There's multiple people in the NBA that are not vaccinated. Bradley Beal's not vaccinated. But you know why we don't talk about him that much? Because the Washington Wizards, in a lot of people's eyes, have no chance of winning a championship. Yes, Bradley Beal is one of the best players in the league, but the Washington Wizards have no shot at winning a championship. The question is, what do you do with Kyrie if you're Brooklyn? Reports have already come out that if you trade him, he's threatening to retire. And I think that's one aspect, one way to look at it, of course. Of course, the other aspect is Kevin Durant, I believe, from report, I don't know if it's true or not, but from reports, shot down the trade Ben Simmons or Kyrie for Ben Simmons, which I believe Philly was kind of looking into doing that. So you have that aspect. I say this, man. Kyrie can have his intentions. Kyrie can do exactly what he wants to do. He's his own person. Kyrie can, his needs and his wants are definitely different than somebody else's needs and wants, and that's perfectly fine. But it is clear that Kyrie Irving's main focus is not winning a championship. You can tell that because, if they're telling you either get the vaccine or you're not going to, you're going to miss out on $15 million, and two, you're not going to be able to play in half the games. And one thing that people overlook a lot is chemistry. Chemistry is everything in the league. That's why if you look at some of the team, like look at Phoenix. Phoenix wasn't the most talented team last year, but they had incredible chemistry with Devin Booker, with Chris Paul, with Bridges, with Cameron Payne, with DeAndre Ayton. They weren't the best team, but they had crazy chemistry. Milwaukee Bucks. They one of the reasons why they were the best team is because they had Giannis, but they also had chemistry. Everyone knew their role. Drew Holiday, PJ Tucker, Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis. They had Robert Covington. People forget they lost Dante DiVincenzo, which is a big loss for them. But because everyone knew their role, they knew exactly what they were doing. Chemistry is so important, especially in the game of basketball. Mistakes it's the difference between basketball and football. Is things happen in a split second for basketball. Split second. And the best thing that you can do and the best thing that you can have is chemistry, as far as you know exactly what your teammates are doing. Why am I talking about chemistry and then talking about this Kyrie Irving thing? Because there's no way that you can build chemistry with a player, one, that can't practice with the team, and two, only can play away games, some away games. So people are saying, well, he's going to be there for 41 games, so that's enough to build chemistry. No, it's not, because he will not be there for 41 games because he can't play in some away arenas. Not to mention, Lord forbid, what happens if he gets hurt in one of those 41 games? So the question is, again, what should Brooklyn do about this Kyrie situation? First and foremost, this is a personal decision. You know what I mean? It's a personal decision. So I'm not here saying you're making the wrong decision, you're making the right decision. What I'm saying is you are making a decision. And that's what a lot of people, I guess you can kind of say, forget, is you make a decision. That means you living with the consequence. Every decision comes with a consequence, whether it's a good consequence or a bad consequence. Every decision has a consequence. And the decision that he made, at least right now, is I'm not getting vaccinated. So the consequence is he may not be able to play. So what do I do if I'm Brooklyn? Brooklyn has two of the, if Kyrie plays, has three of the top, I'll say 5 or 6 best scorers in the league. That's Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. And I mean, hell, if I was Brooklyn, I'd trade him. Now, I know it'd probably be hard finding a trade partner, seeing as the talking about Kyrie will retire. But if I'm Brooklyn, that's not my problem. If I trade you, I don't care what you do after that. Like, that's the other team's problem. Now, another team can look at this and call bluff. Like, Kyrie's not about to retire. He's still young, this and the third. Even though we do know Kyrie's a different type of person. So I don't know. I would try to trade him. I told you before I would have traded him once James Harden came, not because he's a good player, but because Brooklyn has problems. Like, I don't think it's hard for me to see Brooklyn winning a championship, even though you have James Harden, even though you have Kevin Durant, even though if fully vaccinated or fully healthy, you have Kyrie Irving. It's hard for me to see them win a championship with Blake Griffin as their starting center. No disrespect to Blake Griffin, but he's not a center. Or if LaMarcus Aldridge is your starting center, and LaMarcus Aldridge quit basketball last year because of heart problems. No offense to LaMarcus Aldridge, that's just what happened. So it's hard for me to see these players as your starting center and be a championship team, especially when, even if you look, Brooke Lopez, at least at this point, is a better starting center than LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin. DeAndre Ayton is a better starting center right now than Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. And don't get me started with Anthony Davis and all them or Nikola Jokic. So it's hard for me to. I'm saying all that to say, if I were Brooklyn, I would trade him and get pieces that we need. Maybe a defender, because I don't really have any. In fact, I don't think they have a defender on except Claxton. I would get a defender or a big man. That's an actual big man, if they can. But again, Kyrie has made his decision. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying he made his decision, meaning that he is, I guess, accepting whatever comes whatever consequences come from that. So there's that, man. And I guess we'll have to see him moving forward, because I know we won't be seeing him on the court for a while. So we'll see. Let's move forward. So week 5 of the NFL. Let's go over the NFL. Week 5 of the NFL was crazy. It was crazy, man. If I'm a kicker in this league, I would definitely feel some type of way. I would feel some type of way myself, because, man, if you look at the ending to the Green Bay Packers game, if you look at the ending to the Ravens game, if you look at the ending to the it's a lot. It's a lot. But let's start because now we're gonna do the week 5 breakdown of all the teams, all the games. Let's start with, they've had some big games. Whether it was the Ravens, whether it was the Bills, there was some big games. Let's start with the Ravens and Colts. So the Ravens beat the Colts 31-25. They had to score 22 unanswered points. They were down big, big in this game. And week after week, in fact, this entire season, I think Lamar Jackson is starting to dispel a lot of narratives about him. Now, I will say that some of those narratives were true. Don't get me wrong. Some of those narratives were true, but he started, you know what it is? One of the biggest narratives was Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball. He's only a running quarterback. He can't really throw the ball. And because he doesn't throw it like a Brett Favre, because he doesn't throw it like a Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, people think he can't throw the ball. Even though there has been evidence to show that he can throw the ball in quite well. The problem with Lamar has been his consistency in throwing the ball. He has not been that consistent as far as his ability to accurately throw the ball. Yet, as we're seeing on Monday night, Lamar Jackson, I think, threw for 442 yards, which, one, is a franchise record, or Baltimore franchise record. 2 is the most he's ever thrown in his career, so it's career high. 3, he threw 442 yards with an 86% completion percentage, I believe, which is an NFL record. And I think out of all his throws, only one was outside the pocket. The beauty about Lamar and the beauty about the league is when you look at some of the great quarterbacks, they all look different. And that's okay. Again, it goes back to what I said maybe a couple shows ago. People like comps. People like to compare one thing to another. It makes them feel comfortable. It makes them feel familiar with that person or that whatever they're comparing it to. So when people say, I compare this to this, it makes them feel good because it's familiar to them. You can't compare anything to Lamar Jackson. And because of that, people like to, oh, Lamar Jackson's terrible. Lamar Jackson's this. Lamar Jackson's that. Lamar Jackson can't do this. Lamar Jackson can't do that. Yet and still, if you look at the evidence, Lamar Jackson, like I said before, continues to improve year after year after year. No, he's not. He's not going to come in and win immediately like Patrick Mahomes. Or he's not going to have a long, prosperous career like Tom Brady. Winning 7 championships, maybe 8 this year. But does that mean that Lamar Jackson in his own right can't be one of the greatest quarterbacks ever? Of course he can. When it's all said and done. Not right now. When it's all said and done. You know what's funny? And you know what I was just thinking of? You know what I was thinking about? Lamar Jackson I'm starting to think that, at least this year, the Ravens are way too reliant on Lamar. But they have to be. Because I'm like, damn, like, Lamar Jackson, I think last week he threw for over 300. This year he threw for over 400. Yo, and they're like just squeaking by these games. Yo, they're way too reliant on Lamar. And then I remembered Lamar Jackson is covering up the fact that, I totally forgot this team is decimated with injury from the offensive line, which another offensive lineman got hurt on Monday. But the offensive line is just in shambles. The running back core is in shambles. They had to bring in Devontae Adams, Murray, and Tayshaun Williams, I think, who, by the way, has not been good. I know he's been injured like the last game or two, but nah. And don't get me started with the defense. Their defense on Monday has been horrible. However, their second best defender, I guess, or one of the best defenders, definitely their second best cornerback in Marcus Peters is out. In fact, there's multiple bodies on their defense that's out. And I completely forgot about that. Look, man, Lamar Jackson is he's different. And you know what's even crazier? Carson Wentz didn't play bad either. Carson Wentz threw for over 400 yards as well. He was shredding the Ravens defense. It's just Lamar Jackson came bigger. That game was the Ravens could very well be 5-0. If it wasn't for the stumble against the Raiders, they could be 5-0. And I think the narrative not only for the Ravens but for Lamar Jackson would change. Again, people say it's so hard to win 2 MVPs because people get familiar of greatness. Which is why when it happens, you have to. It's incredible. Like Steph Curry winning 2. Steph Curry could be a 4-time MVP. He could have won that. But people get familiar with greatness. Giannis. I don't think Giannis is gonna win another not championship. I don't think he's gonna win another MVP because people are familiar. Hell, you think LeBron James? I think he has 4. You think LeBron James is only good enough for 4 championships? I mean, 4 MVPs? LeBron James? People just get familiar with it. Again, people don't like to discuss, people don't like to give credit where credit's due with something that they're not used to. They're not used to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is not Cheerios. You know what I mean? I'm not used to this. He has an unorthodox throw, the little side jump. His running ability is second to none. He's a better runner than Michael Vick, better runner than Cam Newton. He's probably the most elusive quarterback we've ever seen. And what's scary is his arm talent is starting to catch up with his his elusiveness. And once that happens, boy, oh boy. And again, shouts out to Carson Wentz. Shouts out to Carson Wentz. Shouts out to the Colts. They played really well. I usually come in here and bag Carson Wentz. This defense was incredible. DeForest Buckner was incredible. Darius Leonard was incredible. This defense was good. I mean, look, let's not get it. And another reason, and I keep jumping back and forth, but another reason why I was so in awe with what Lamar Jackson did on Monday night was because of how bad he played in the first half, bro. He fumbled at the 1 yard line, and they damn near, if it wasn't called back, they would have took it to the house, or at least taken it to the other 1 yard line. Like, he played horrible, bro. They were down, I think, like 22 to like 3. That's how bad they were. It was bad. It was looking bleak. And any other quarterback was like, hey, this just ain't our night. And this is what it is. This just ain't our night. They get down to the, I think, 3 yard line and have to settle for a field goal. It just ain't our night. That's any other quarterback would have just, it is what it is. But the second half, Lamar shredded them dude, bro. And again, Carson Wentz played well. Frank Reich their defense played incredible. Jonathan Taylor played great. Hines played great. Everyone played great on the Colts. It's just, and it's not like, their defense folded. No, Lamar Jackson was just that good. There was nothing you can do. He was killing them with Mark Andrews. He was killing them with Hollywood Brown. He was running in the pot. Like, I think he only had one bad throw the whole night, and that throw would have been another touchdown to Hollywood Brown. I just think he threw it too short. Shouts out to the Ravens and Lamar Jackson for beating the Colts 31-25. I think the second biggest game, and to me going into it was the biggest game of the week, again, was the Bills against the Chiefs. Now, the Bills the Bills destroyed the Chiefs 38-20. And a lot of people will look to that rain delay. It was like an hour plus long rain delay at halftime as to how the Chiefs won or why the Chiefs won. And while I do think that the rain delay was a factor, I mean, it's kind of hard sitting down in the middle of a battle, pretty much, sitting down for an hour plus just to come back and try to go full blaze. That's hard for anybody. But this is who I thought the Bills were. This is who we expected, or a lot of people expected the Bills to be this year. Outside of that first game against the Steelers, the Bills have been dogging every single body. And the thing that is happening is that the defense is, that's what I saw, and we'll talk about it with the Cardinals in a second. That's what I talked about with the Cardinals. The defense is catching up with the offense. One year, the defense was incredible. The offense wasn't that good. Last year, the offense was incredible. The defense wasn't that good. Now, they're like the number 1 ranked defense with, I think, a top 2 or top 3 ranked offense. It's hard, bruh. Josh Allen is playing at an MVP level. The defense is playing great. And it's not, and the thing is, they're killing you on so many. They're killing you with special teams. They're killing you offense, defense. Great, Sean McDermott is a great coach, bro. They are the best team right now, in my opinion, in the NFL. You can kind of go back and forth between the Cardinals and the Bills, but they right now are playing the best football in the league. In my opinion, they're beating you. The only weak unit probably is the running back position. But when you have Josh Allen running like he's running, like and the Bills offense being as creative as it is and doing what they're doing, you can, Devin Singletary, he'll do. And let's go over to the Chiefs side right quick. A lot of people are sounding alarm about the Chiefs, and I think that an alarm does need to be sounded. The Chiefs right now have the worst ranked defense in NFL history. I don't care if you have 1,000. I don't care if you have 11 Patrick Mahomes on the offense. It's hard. It's hard to play against. I mean, it's hard when your defense is the worst ranked defense in league history at this point. It's not like, again, the one thing that's been clear and one thing that we've seen is that, and I talked about this last episode, Patrick Mahomes is the great equalizer. Patrick Mahomes can take nothing and still win. Well, let me not say that. Patrick Mahomes can mask a bad defense because he's Patrick Mahomes, because he's that great. The problem is, when Patrick Mahomes I'm not saying that he's just horrible, but when Patrick Mahomes starts playing starts not as high as Patrick Mahomes has played, the defense can't pick that up. Now, yes, Chris Jones was not playing, but Chris Jones ain't about to change the complete trajectory of this defense. The Chiefs still have Patrick Mahomes. You still have Travis Kelce. You still have Tyreek Hill. You still have McCole Harmon. Josh Gordon's on the team now, and he made a catch. Good for him, even though I think I know he had a bad offensive pass interference penalty, but with all that, you're still in the mix. I'm not trashing, and I'm not saying that the Chiefs are just garbage now. But that 38-20 score represents just exactly where the Bills are and exactly where the Chiefs are. That, yes, the rain delay probably affected it a little bit, but not that much. Right now, the Chiefs is an 18 points better than the Chiefs right now. The Chiefs' offensive line ain't playing that well. The Chiefs' defense is god-awful. And Patrick Mahomes is not playing like the godly level that we're used to him playing. And because of that, he can't mask all these problems that the defense has now. He's not able to do that right now. Now, can that change? Of course it can change. I mean, we've seen the greatness out of Patrick Mahomes. But that's just not what we're seeing right now. And what we're seeing from the Bills, this is a championship team. And I would not be surprised if they're hosting the trophy, hosting the Super Bowl trophy. I would not be surprised. That's how good this team is. And I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I think because the division that the Chiefs are in is going to be tough, but do I think the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs? No. And do I think the Chiefs are going to have something to say about the champion? Of course. I mean, you still have them, and I think that they can at least. I mean, right now you're ranked the worst defense in NFL history. So you can't really go worse than that. So there's nothing but up. So but let's talk about some of these other games, man. The London game, the Falcons beat the Jets 27-20. I don't really have this game, it is what it is. Shouts out to freaking the Atlanta Falcons for finally using Kyle Pitts how he's supposed to be used. I think he had 10 or 11 targets. He had his first touchdown. Shouts out to them. I'm saying, you have one of the more athletic catching tight ends in the league. Why not use him? Especially when Calvin Ridley wasn't there. Especially when you let Julio Jones walk. Why not use Kyle Pitts? So shouts out to that. But, that game didn't tell me much. I felt bad for London because London always gets bad. London always gets bad teams, man. It's horrible. But yeah, shouts out to the Falcons for beating the Jets. The Vikings beat the Lions 19-17. Both two teams really aren't that good, even though a lot is talked about by Dan Campbell. He with the whole knee biting thing, he was crying for his players on Sunday. because they lost, and they lost in a heartbreaker. But what I will say about Dan Campbell is his team. I mean, his team looks like that they're motivated. His team looks like they're trying to play for him. They just might not be a good unit, but they don't look like they look like they're listening, and they look like they're playing for that coach. It's just they're not that good. And I think that's, you can tell the difference between the Lions and the Jaguars. As far as the Jaguars don't look like they're playing for Urban Myers. They just look like they're playing. They don't look like they respect Urban Myers. They don't look like they're, quote unquote, putting their life on the line for Urban Myers. It looks like they're just playing and he's just the coach. You can tell the Lions are playing for Dan Campbell. Like, they like playing under his tutelage. And even though they are 0-5, that's not because of effort. It's just because they're not that good of a team. So, but yeah, the Vikings beat them. The Washington football team loses to the Saints 33-22. It gets to a point where you just gotta laugh at it. You know what I mean? Like, you give up a Hail Mary before halftime. Okay. You make Jameis Winston look like Joe Montana. Okay. Alvin Kamara has his best game of the season against your defense. Okay. Alvin Kamara has 2 touchdowns. Okay. Taysom Hill goes out the game. He's injured, not playing anymore. And they still torch you. Okay. Washington's defense is still arguably one of the worst defenses in the league. Okay. Tyler Heineke, even though the fan base loves him, he's still a backup quarterback that's only played 4 games or only started in 4 games. In every game, he has a play that either could go. It's kind of like what we talk about with Jimmy G, as he's going to give you one. Tyler Heineke is going to give you 1 and 2. He just throw it up there, and somebody going to come down with it. It's happened twice in the game, and both times. I think I'm more mad at myself at the fact that I predicted that the Washington football team not only was going to win the division. Actually, I don't know if I said win the division, but I did think they were going to be good enough to be a wild card team. I might be wrong. But the Saints, shouts out to the Saints for beating Washington 33-22. The Patriots beat the Texans 25-22. That game was a lot closer than it should be. But the running game, Mac Jones played a good game as far as he didn't lose in the game. He played a really, serviceable game. It was the defense and the running game, and the fact that you're playing with the Texans. Even though the Texans were playing really well, you got the win, and you're 2-3 at this point. And shouts out to the Patriots. The 49ers beat the dog-ish out of the Dolphins 45-17. I think this is the first game in Tom Brady's career where he had over 400 yards and like over 4 or 5 touchdowns. They're firing on all cylinders. Now, I will say that don't let it confuse you. The Dolphins didn't have Tua, and I'm not saying that they would have won if they did. And their 2 best defenders, the Dolphins, it looked like they just gave up. I don't know what the hell. Xavier Howard and homie, I forgot his name. It just looked like they just gave up. I'm like, Jesus, look, like they were just letting people go left and right. But I will say that, again, it's kind of hard to critique after you beat someone almost by 30 points. But their defense, especially the cornerback position, is still not that good. Like, they're still struggling. And yeah, you dogging people on the offense. Tom Brady's Antonio Brown is having the game of his life. It's looking good. It's looking good, but winning can mask a lot of things. And right now, the Bucs defense, especially in particular their cornerback position, because their front line is good, but their cornerback position can cost them games. And of course, they're not going to do it with Jacoby Brissett and the Dolphins, but they're going to need to get that rectified, or you're going to run into another Ram situation. So, but shout out to the Bucs for beating the Dolphins. We talked about kickers. The Green Bay Packers beat the Bengals 25-22, man. And this was an emotional game, like just an emotional roller coaster. I think that there was a point where there was 5 consecutive missed kicks from either Mason Crosby or the dude from the Bengals, man. But it was a good game, man. Jamar Chase caught a big touchdown. I know Devontae Adams caught one. A.J. Dillon caught one. Like, it was a good game. But I'm starting to see things that I'm not liking with the Packers. Now, I understand. I mean, they're 4-1, so it was kind of hard to critique. But, bro, there should be no reason why you almost lose to the Bengals and you almost lose to the Lions. We just talked about, yes, the Lions play hard, but they're not that good of a team. And the Bengals are a lot better than I thought. Don't get me wrong. The Bengals are a lot better than I thought. Joe Burrow has played incredible. Jamar Chase has played incredible. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, they played great. But that defense still sorry. And it's like, the Packers just don't seem like they're playing motivated. They just don't seem like they're playing motivated football. They seem like they're going out there and they're winning because they're just the better team and they have the better quarterback. Like, they should have lost against the Lions. They should have lost against the Bengals. If it wasn't for horrible, now we can't look at this. You can't look at it both ways. If it wasn't for bad kicking, they would have won. I mean, if Mason Crosby didn't miss 4 or 5 kicks, they probably would have won. But they went into overtime. If it wasn't for the Bengals kicker missing, like, they would have lost. And they just don't feel like they're playing motivated. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't seem good, man. Now the Packers, again, I think they're winning on talent alone at this point, because and they're highly dependent on Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers connection. Aaron Jones has played well, but he hasn't played, maybe 1 or 2 games he's played up to the level that we know Aaron Jones can play. Matt, some of the play calling is like, what the hell? Like, I just don't know what it is. It's just the Packers are not looking like the Packers that just made it to 2 straight NFC championships. So, I don't know. But they did win. So shouts out to the Packers for beating the Bengals. The Steelers beat the Broncos 27-19. I predicted this. I predicted that the Steelers were going to win this game. Does that mean that all the problems that the Steelers have are rectified? No. Big Ben did look good. Big Ben did have a deep pass to Johnson. He looked good. He did have a pass to Claypool. He looked good. I know Juju Smith, he hurt his arm. He's out for the season. I hope for a speedy recovery. And that's going to be a big blow, even though they do have a good wide receiver core and Najee Harris has played really well. But, Juju Smith is pretty much the quote-unquote leader of that wide receiver core. So that's going to be big. But you're starting to see what the problem is with Teddy Bridgewater. And it's a weird problem. It's a weird problem because there's a lot of teams that would love this problem. And that is Teddy Bridgewater Teddy Bridgewater is not, how do I say it, man? How do I put this into context? Teddy Bridgewater is, for lack of a better term, Teddy Bridgewater is a vanilla quarterback. And what I mean by that is he's going to do everything right. He's not going to have a lot of high turnovers. He's not going to have a lot of plays where it puts you in harm's way. He could have a turnover from time to time, but at the end of the year, he's not going to have a high turnover percentage. But the problem with Teddy Bridgewater is he doesn't take risks that much. He's not going to throw that deep ball that could have got intercepted, but it was an incredible catch. He's not going to do that much. He's not going to, fight for that extra yard and possibly get it knocked out or something. Like, he's not going to do that. Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback. He's not a risk taker. And yes, the Broncos defense is great. Patrick Surtain is really good. Von Miller is really good. But when you have someone like Courtland Sutton, when you have Melvin Gordon, when you have some of the players that you have, you need a quarterback that's going to take risks. Now, it's crazy. Their quarterbacks are just two complete different ends of the pendulum. As far as, you have Teddy Bridgewater, he's gonna get it done. He's not gonna take a lot of risk. He's not gonna throw the ball downfield that much. He's not gonna throw in tight windows because it could get picked. He's not gonna do that. He can get you a win, but he's gonna do it very serviceable. He's gonna do just enough. Not saying like he's underachieving, but Teddy Bridgewater he's a good quarterback that's not going to put you in a lot of tough situations. Drew Lock, all he does is put you in tough situations. Drew Lock, all he does is risky throws. Drew Lock does not have an ounce of let me be conservative in him. Maybe that's the word. Teddy Bridgewater is very conservative as far as his play on the football field. Drew Lock does not have an ounce of conservative in him. He's like, yo, we throwing this jump. Like, and that is crazy to me. But hey, the Steelers, this was probably the second game, because I think probably the first game it was like this. But this is probably the second game of the season where the offense looked as good as the defense. Najee Harris looked great. Like I said, Claypool had a touchdown. Johnson had a touchdown. Like, they looked really good. So again, that shouts out to the Steelers for beating the Broncos. The Eagles beat the Panthers 21-18. I think this was probably the first game of the year where Sam Darnold looked like the old Sam Darnold, like it with the bad turnovers, and he looked like the Sam Darnold from the Giants. I mean, from the Jets. Now, am I saying that he's garbage? No, it was a bad game. Now, if we continue to see this, then of course my perception will change. But the Eagles played an exceptional game. They played an exceptionally defensive game. Jalen Hurts did just enough to win the game. And again, those 2 turnovers were huge for Sam Darnold. So, but hey, shouts out to the Eagles for being the Panthers. The Titans beat not the Panthers. Shouts out to the Titans beat the hell out of the Jaguars 37-19. Again, Jaguars horrible. Titans looked really good. Derrick Henry had 3 touchdowns, I believe. Like, it's the Jaguars. What can you really say? What can you really say? Shouts out to Zach Schlumer. If I butchered your name, I apologize. He has this segment on it's the Strong Opinion Sports. It's his podcast. He does really well. He has this thing called Noteworthy, like a segment where he talks about each game and something that's noteworthy. Here's what's noteworthy about the Jaguars. They suck. The Jaguars are horrible. They only have one, and I mean one, like, player that is worth talking about, and that is, well, Robinson. Their running back is decent, but if it's not Robinson or Trevor Lawrence, then they're not even worth speaking about. But shout out to the Titans. A really good game, man, was the Chargers and the Browns. The Chargers beat the Browns 47-42. Those are one of those games where you can just throw out defense. Like, defense didn't matter. It didn't care. Even though the Browns have really good defenders, it doesn't care. This was just an offensive slugfest back and forth. Baker Mayfield was playing well. Nick Chubb was playing well. Kareem Hunt was playing well. On the other side, Justin Herbert just continues to shine. Mike Williams, bro. I was playing him in fantasy. Oh, Mike Williams gave homie, 43 points? Like, damn. But Mike Williams played great. Eckler, he was not trying to score at the end, but they were so good situationally as far as the clock and everything that the Browns literally dragged Eckler into the end zone. But one play or one drive that really said a lot to me was the end. And that is, you can tell how a team feels about you or their trust factor or their level of trust in you by the decisions that the coaches make. At the end of the game, the Browns had a chance to win it. 2-minute warning or 2-minute drill. They had a chance to win it. And you run now, I understand that Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb is having the game of their lives. They're going crazy. But instead of trusting Baker Mayfield, you trust the running game in a 2-minute drill. Now, I don't know if you know much about 2-minute drill, but 2-minute drill, you have 2 minutes to score pretty much. And you don't really see a lot of running in the 2-minute drill unless you're like the Ravens. But even the Ravens be throwing the hell out the ball in a 2-minute drill. You don't really do a lot of running. And they took the ball out of Baker Mayfield's hands and put it in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt's hands. It just didn't make that much sense to me, especially when you needed 5 points. What are they? Now, again, I understand you can throw the defense out because both defenses were just bad. It was just a score fest. But Baker Mayfield was playing well. I don't understand why he took the ball out of his hand, man. I guess I kind of do because you don't really trust him in that. So, but hey, man, shouts out to the Chargers for beating the Browns. I think it was good. And on the Chargers side, man, Justin Herbert just continues to grow, continues to shine day after day after day, man. Or week after week. He continues to have. Justin Herbert is becoming one of the better quarterbacks in the league. If somebody said that he was a top 10 quarterback, I wouldn't look at them crazy. What? Top 10? Justin Herbert is playing that well. And shouts out to Rashawn Slater, the rookie left tackle. Bro, he may be the best left tackle in football. And he's and you know who could have had him? You know who could have had him? I'm not saying any names. Bengals. Shouts out to the Chargers for beating the Browns. The Bears beat the Raiders 20-9. Shouts out to Justin Fields for getting his first win as a starting quarterback. There was a lot of distractions with the Raiders with the whole Jon Gruden thing, and Derek Carr did not look good at all. It was just a bad overall game for the Raiders, and it was a good overall game for the Browns, even though there was a lot of instances where the Raiders could have not only come back but win the game. It just felt like, I don't know, they just didn't really play too well. I'm just be real with you, the Raiders didn't, and Justin Fields did just enough to win, and the defense played really well, especially at the end. So shouts out to the Bears for beating the Raiders. The Cardinals beat the 49ers 17-10, and this is why I think that this was a very important win for the Cardinals, not just because it's a divisional game, but this was the first game where the Cardinals didn't play well. Yeah, they won, but the Cardinals did not play well. The Cardinals have been destroying damn near everyone they play, and Kyler didn't have the best game. The running game didn't have, James Conner didn't have the best game. Even though, DeAndre Hopkins is always dependable, probably the best receiver in the league, and he had a touchdown. But this team did not play the best. The defense didn't play the best. Now, that could be because you're playing against a good team that is the 49ers, and Trey Lance was starting for the first time, so that's a different cog and a different look than, of course, Jimmy G. But the Cardinals did not play well at all, and they still won, which shows that they can win multiple different ways, multiple different times. That's what that shows me. You know what I'm saying? They can destroy people and then they can win in close games. And I think that is the makeup of a champion. Not saying that they're going to win a championship. They could. I think that they definitely will have something to say towards the end of the season. And they are one of what? I think they're the only team that is undefeated right now. So shouts out to them. But that loss, that win showed me a lot from the Cardinals, and that is they can win ugly. That's one thing that you're not used to hearing or saying about the Cardinals, especially with Kyler Murray and this defense, is they can win ugly, and they won ugly against the 49ers. And on the 49ers side, they're dealing with some injuries, but, Trey Lance, who got injured, so I don't know what's going to happen next week, but Trey Lance looked good. He just I don't think he's ready to play he's not really ready to start. And he had to, of course, because Jimmy G was hurt, but he's not ready to start. And you can see it's apparent. So, but shouts out, he looked okay. He did have a touchdown. So to Deebo Samuels, who Deebo Samuels has been just dogging. Like he's been eating all year. So, but shout out to the Cardinals. And the last game was the Cowboys beat the Giants 44-20. And people would make this a bigger deal because, of course, it's the Cowboys. It's an NFC showdown. But I'm not making a big deal of this. The Cowboys were supposed, and I said this with my predictions. I said the Cowboys were going to destroy the Giants, and that's exactly what happened. And it don't make it no easier or better that every single Giant, from Daniel Jones and the concussion, from Saquon Barkley, who cannot catch a break since his injury, but Saquon Barkley twisting his ankle and that joint blowing up like a balloon, to every single wide receiver on their team of note, and Kenny Galladay, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, all of them are hurt. And they're a rookie with Torrey, who's going crazy over here, thinking he's about to roll up on somebody and stealing off on somebody with a helmet on, by the way. So he got ejected. So everything that was supposed to happen happened. The Cowboys are playing better. The Cowboys are playing great. The Cowboys, to me, seem like a Super Bowl contending team. But Dak Prescott looked good. Ezekiel Elliott ran all up and down this team. Amari Cooper looked good. Everyone looked good for the everything that was supposed to happen with the Cowboys has happened with the Cowboys, and I'm not surprised about it. It doesn't shock me. That's what I said. They were going to destroy the Giants, especially the Giants that everybody's out, everyone's hurt, or everyone of note is hurt. It doesn't surprise me. But hey, that's the week 5 breakdown. That's what I got out of week 5. Let's move forward. There's also a crazy weekend, or it was also a crazy weekend for college football, man. I'm starting to see that this at least there's a lot of good teams in college football, man. And this weekend showed me that anybody can lose. Now, again, that's easier said than, of course, anyone can lose any given Sunday, any given Saturday. But we're not used to seeing this many teams. We're not used to seeing Alabama lose to an unranked team. And Alabama lost to Texas A&M. We know about the last second field goal. But Alabama loses to Texas A&M. Penn State loses to Iowa. Now, I know that was the 3 and 4 matchup, but that was a great game. Oklahoma and Texas, the Cotton Bowl or the River Road rivalry was that game. Texas gotta be sick. I think they were up like 20 points and lost. Like they were, to a rookie, a freshman. They took Spencer Rattler, who was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick next year. They took him out and put in a freshman, and he lit them up, bro. And LSU. I started hearing people calling for Ed Orgeron's job, and I'm like, yo, you guys are you're overdoing it. Like, chill out. Ed Orgeron, just won a championship with LSU probably 2 years ago. Just chill out, all right? But then I started to look a little deeper. You had an incredible coaching staff. In fact, I think 2 or 3 of his coaching staff are now coaches other places. You inherited one of the greatest quarterback, at least for a season, one of the greatest quarterbacks in college football history in Joe Burrow. You inherited one of the greatest offenses for at least for a season in LSU. You had Jamar Chase. You had, was it Clyde Edwards? You had some people. You take that season out, and he looks like a very average coach. And average doesn't really cut it for LSU. So, especially with the history that they have and the expectations that they have, I don't know, bro. But, again, seeing Alabama lose and seeing a lot of these close games and seeing the week before a lot of ranked teams lose, Oregon lost to Stanford. Like, you're really starting to see, like, anybody could win. Now, I said this on Twitter, but right now Georgia looks like the best team hands down. Like they look like they are head and shoulders above the rest. That's how good they look. And I'm just excited to see what happens come the playoff time. We know, I'm sure Alabama's not going to lose another game, maybe until they play Georgia or something like that. They're probably not going to lose another game until maybe the college playoffs. So, of course, they'll be in the mix. Iowa looks incredible, man. I want to see what they. In fact, I can't say that because they did just play a top-ranked team in Penn State and beat them. The Ohio State beat beat the hell out of Maryland. But I'm just excited. I'm interested to see what the college football playoffs are going to look like. Again, there's teams. What do they do with Oklahoma? What do they do with Iowa? Well, Iowa lose. What do they do with Georgia if they lose to Alabama in the SEC championship or something, or if they lose to Alabama in the regular season, then beat Alabama in the SEC championship? Like, what do they? It's something that I'm definitely interested in seeing and interested to see how this goes. What happens with Oregon? I mean, yeah, you lose to Stanford, but your defensive coordinator, I think, was out, and they were down like so many starters. Like, what did he do with that? So, I'm excited to see what happens with college basketball, man. It's exciting. It's exciting. So, let's move forward. So on Saturday, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fought for the third time. And I'll say this. Well, Tyson Fury TKO'd Wilder in the 11th round. And this fight was only good. There was a point in this fight where Twitter, a lot of the social media sites, where we were questioning. I think it was only getting good, or it was only good because we were like, yo, how much punishment can this man, Deontay Wilder, take? Deontay Wilder was getting destroyed. Now, he was good the first maybe 4-5 rounds. Definitely the first 3. First 3, he was great. First 3, he was winning the fight, in my opinion. Deontay Wilder was winning the fight. I know he had a knockdown, but he knocked down Tyson Fury twice. I think he was winning the fight. Then from round 4 on, he was getting destroyed. The thing about Deontay Wilder is crazy to me. And he's not let me say this. He's not a technically sound boxer. Now, I'm not here to say that I know much about boxing, because I do not. But I do know, watching Deontay Wilder, he's not a technical boxer. He is a power boxer, but he's not a technical boxer. Meaning he can land one of them hits can it'll be a short day for you if one of them hits land. But if you need technique, if you need him to like, he's not that. That's not Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is not a technical fighter at all. And you're going against somebody, Tyson Fury, who, even though he doesn't look the part, he is one of the better, if not the best, heavyweight fighters. In fact, he is the best heavyweight boxer in the world. He's technically sound, and he has power to his punches. So you're fighting somebody in Deontay Wilder who has power punches but no technique, going against Tyson Fury, who has all the technique and the power. Long day. But again, I was looking at that fight like, bro, Deontay. And back to the point, the thing that was surprising to me, every single time I look at Deontay Wilder has the most chiseled body in the, like, he is tall. He has a chiseled body. Deontay Wilder looks like he's playing no games with nobody. He intimidates he looks like the prototypical dude. Like, he looks like the prototypical boxer. As far as like, no, he doesn't. Let me not say that. He looks like he is a monster. But in the same time, almost every fight, he looks gassed. He looks gassed after like round 3. And I'm like, bro, you told us that you changed your trainer, so you changed your conditioning and everything. What are they doing? Bro, you look like you were out of it. Bro, Deontay Wilder looked like he was out of it after round 3. And he won. He was winning the fight. He looked like he had no more energy. None. Now, you can't say like the second fight. You can't say it was because of the outfit. I think he's saying his outfit was like 45 pounds. It was a long-ass walk. This time he had like a samurai mask with like a cape. So you cannot say this time that it was the outfit, because that's not the case. Tyson Fury just beat the absolute mess out of you. And the thing is, again, there was a point in the fight, probably around 6 or 7, where we were like, yo, this fight is great. This is a classic. Only because we were asking as fans, how much more punishment how is it that I don't know how many people said this. How is it that Deontay Wilder is still standing? Bro, he kept getting knocked down. He kept getting stole off on. He kept getting hit. Like, it was bad for that man. I do not want to see this. This was like one of them Ronda Rousey fights, bro. Like, towards the end when she was fighting like was it Amanda Nunes? I think it was Amanda Nunes, and she just got destroyed. Like, that's not something I'm trying to see again, bro. Please, no. Tyson Fury is a better fighter than Deontay Wilder. He may not be the better power puncher than Wilder, but when you're fighting someone that's only power and you have technique to it, it doesn't matter how much power you got. Like, yeah, you can catch me one, but I'm not going to let you catch me with one. Yeah, he knocked down Tyson Fury twice, but he got right back up and beat the ever-living dog-ish out of Deontay Wilder. From rounds 5 to round 11. So, shouts out to Fury for winning that one. So, let's move on. So, the NBA season is fastly approaching, and I'm continuing my divisional breakdown, and we're gonna talk about the Southwest Division. The Southwest Division is the Dallas Mavericks, the Memphis Grizzlies, the San Antonio Spurs, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Houston Rockets. Let's first go with the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets will probably be one of the more exciting teams to watch. I put them in the same category as excitement, not talent, but as excitement as the Charlotte Hornets, as far as a team that you would love to see. Jalen Green looks really good. I do want to see what they do with John Wall. Of course, John Wall's not there. They're agreeing to try to trade him, but to me, it's hard to trade that contract, bro. John Wall probably has the worst contract in the league. As far as his, the decline, as far as his he's been hurt a lot, and his athleticism has kind of diminished due to the injuries, and he's never really been a great shooter. So I do want to see what happens with that contract, but the Houston Rockets are exciting to watch with Jalen Green, with Josh Christopher, with Christian Wood. Like, they have a really exciting team. I don't think they'll be good, though. Don't get me wrong. This team is not going to be good. No. This team is going to be very bad. No defense. I see what they do with Eric Gordon. I don't know, but this team is not going to be good. It's just going to be exciting to watch. There's going to be a lot of high scoring games. A lot of highlight plays from Jalen Green and Josh Christopher, but this team is not going to be. Houston's not going to be good, and I don't know. Yeah, Houston's not going to be good, but they'll be fun to watch. New Orleans Pelicans, bro. This team doesn't make much sense, man. It's like you have Zion. It's like this. They don't know how to build around Zion. They do not know how to build around. They thought they had. Had pieces to build around Zion when you get Eric Bledsoe and Lonzo Ball, but they don't know how to build around Zion. I mean, yeah, Josh. What's his name? Josh Hart's cool. They don't really have much of anything, man. And it's I know it's gotta hurt when the Pelicans see the success from. I mean, you got Devontae Graham. That's cool. Jackson Hayes, Brandon Ingram. I mean, Brandon Ingram is gonna get his points. We know that. Garrett Temple, Jonas Valanciunas. But you don't do stuff, Steven. Like it. They don't know. They did get Trey Murphy, who is a rookie from Virginia. So I think he'd be all right. But this team is gonna be bad. Yeah, Devontae Graham is gonna put up a lot of shots like he did in Charlotte. And Zion's gonna be one of the better dunkers in the league, like he usually is. But that ain't gonna equate to wins. So it's just gonna be. That's why you heard a lot of rumblings, especially last year, about Zion may demand a trade out, because it's just like, what is this organization doing? This organization really ain't been good for a while, and that's even with Jrue Holiday and with Anthony Davis. Yeah, they made it to the playoffs a couple of years, but no. So it is what it is. The San Antonio Spurs, I don't really see much in them either. I think the question is, what's good is this Greg Popovich last year? I know a lot of rumblings in the league saying that this could be his last year. I mean, they don't really have much. You did trade away, or you let you let DeMar DeRozan walk, and right now all you have is who do they have? I know they have what's his name? Damn. What is his name? DeJounte Murray. They have DeJounte Murray. They have Derek White, Lonnie Walker. They got Thaddeus Young. Shouts out Thaddeus Young. And Doug McDermott. Oh. Yeah, they ain't really got nobody. Jacob Poeltl, Zach Collins. Yeah, they don't. Trey Jones. Yeah, this team's going to be bad. I don't think this, because you have Greg Popovich, I don't think this is going to be the worst team in the division. But if you look at their roster, it will. But I think because you have a good coach in Greg Popovich, he's going to win you some games. Or his coaching is going to win you some games. But I don't like the Spurs. Memphis Grizzlies, they always have a gritty team. When you have Dylan Brooks, you have John Morant, you have Triple J, they have a good team. It's just they don't play enough defense for me. And I do think that, John Morant's getting better and Dylan Brooks is a really good defender, but they just don't they don't have a good enough defense for me. As far as to make noises, even though you have that's about they don't really have Kyle Anderson maybe. They do have Steven Adams, and they replaced him or they replaced Jonas Valanciunas for him. So that that's something. And Brandon Clark is really good, so was Desmond Payne. Oh, they got Jared Culver. Shouts out to him. Definitely get a better organization than the Timberwolves, but I just don't see. I think they'll be good. They're, of course, a team that has John Morant is going to be exciting to watch. Of course, with the high flying dunks and everything. But I just don't see. I think that they could, of course, probably make some noise as far as getting to the play-in, but I don't see them really making any noise if they do make it to the playoffs. Kind of like last year, they didn't make any noise in the first round, and if they do make it to the playoffs, I don't see them doing much. John Morant is really good, one of the better young players in the league, but I don't, The reason why I started with the Southwest Division as far as when going into the West is because this, to me, is I'm not going to say one team. It's a one-player division, and that is Luka. Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. You have KCP. Not KCP. You have Kristaps Porzingis, but Luka is the best player in this division by a long shot. And it's like, it's Luka or bust. I think Dallas is banking on is Luka or bust. When you didn't really make much moves in the offseason, it's like, if this team is gonna go as far as Luka takes them now, I do think that they'll make the playoffs, and I do think that they definitely will have a good playoff series because they always do. But it's really Luka or bust, and that's for the whole Southwest Division. Luka is the best player by a country mile in this division. Memphis has Ja. San Antonio has DeJounte Murray. You have Zion, who's exciting, but he has injury problems. And Jalen Green in Houston, who his best play is with the Ignite. So, that's the Southwest Division. I do want to see. I want to see, with the Southwest Division, I want to see who else emerges, because we know the people that's going to be good. We know Ja, we know Luka, we know Zion's going to be, explosive, but I want to see who else is going to, what other player we're going to talk about. Could it be Kristaps Porzingis? Could it be Jaren Jackson? I don't know, but I do want to see it. I do want to see it. And another NBA topic that so reports are coming out saying that Rich Paul, who is the Clutch Sports and is the representative or agent, let's say, of Ben Simmons. Now he has other clients, of course, but Ben Simmons is one of his clients. And they're saying that he's trying to pretty much restructure his deal and trying to get Ben Simmons to come back to or go back to Philly. The question that I have is, can Ben Simmons return to Philly? Not only do we know, of course, what happened at the end with the playoffs, but this offseason, it's been back and forth. The team tried to get him back. He canceled the meetings. He hasn't showed up to training camp. There was some pointed comments from Joel Embiid just for Ben Simmons to be like, "Hey, I'm not coming back." I think we've run our course. It doesn't really feel like he can come back. You can play anywhere, of course. You can forgive anybody. Hell, if LeBron James forgave what the owner said for Cleveland, and people burn his jersey and come back and win a championship for him, then I get that. But I don't see. I just don't. It just feels like this relationship is beyond repair. It doesn't matter how much. Well, I'm not gonna say it don't matter how much money, but money can change a lot of things, but it just seems like Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia organization, their relationship is kind of over. And I understand trying to come back and playing to try to raise your trade stock, but outside of being like a I want to be a Philly for life type player, I just don't see that happening anymore. So I'm interested to see where this comes, because it feels like to me Ben Simmons cannot come back, and a lot of people think that the train is off the tracks as far as Ben Simmons in Philly. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. So, but I'm interested to see how that goes. So. And lastly, man, shouts out to the Chicago Sky. The game is tonight. Game 2 of the NBA Finals is tonight. They are up 1-0 in the WNBA Finals against the Phoenix Mercury. They beat the absolute dog-ish out of Phoenix the first game. And you know what? I also want to apologize. I've been saying Kayla Cooper for the longest. I've been saying her name Cooper because I can't spell. I've been saying Kayla Cooper for the longest. Her name is Kayla Copper. It's not 2 O's. It's 2 O's. It's 2 O's, not 2 P's. I apologize. But hey man, she's having a breakout like playoffs, man. She is going crazy. And you know, especially at the right time, man. At the right time. It is 2 P's. It's not 2 O's. It's Kayla Copper. Come on, bro. But she had 21 points. Candace Parker had 16. Ale Quayle, she had 12. Courtney Vandersloot, who got injured in the middle of the game, came back. She had 11 and 12. It was a great game, man. It was a great game. And they're on the brink, man. They look like a better team. Now, a lot of people are saying that it could be because, you know, Phoenix played 2 nights before and they had a long bout or long fight with the Aces, but you play, And even Diana Taurasi said, no, we're not really tired. We just beat the hell out of us. And that's what happened. So shouts out to the Sky. Another thing, man, I think they came out saying that Diana Taurasi, I think the fans voted that Diana Taurasi was the GOAT, greatest women's player ever. Okay. I don't agree. I mean, I understand the success and the longevity, but there's a lot of players, in my opinion, that you could say or should be on this or should be in consideration. I mean, what happened to Sue Bird? What happened to Cynthia Cooper? That's definitely Cooper. What happened to Cynthia Cooper? What I mean, what? It just. What happened to Lisa Leslie? I understand Lisa Leslie's career wasn't as long and wasn't as successful. What about her? What about Maya Moore? I understand that, but you realize Maya Moore quit. Like she stepped away. Let me not say quit. She stepped away because she wanted to. She ain't feel like because she had there was something bigger than her that she wanted to attack. What about her? Imagine if she would have kept going. She only played from 2011 to 2018 and is four-time champion and 7-time NBA all NBA All-Star. Whoa. Is 7-time all WNBA selection. And she's a Rookie of the Year and a 2014 MVP. And 2013 Finals MVP. And 6-time All-Star and 2-time All-Defensive Team. Like, imagine if Maya Moore would have kept playing. Imagine if her husband would not have went to jail and she would have kept playing. Think about that. So I'm not here saying, what happened to Cheryl Swoops? The only player in WNBA history to be a regular season MVP 3 times and Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. again, I'm not here to kill Diana Taurasi. Shouts out to Diana Taurasi, man. She's a beast. And her name definitely deserves to be up there in conversation as far as greatest of all time. But I just feel like there's players that are a little better. You know, I mean, Cynthia Cooper is a 4-time champion with the Comets, which is not a team anymore. And has 4 Finals MVPs and a 2-time regular season MVP. That's all I'm saying. But there you have it, man. That has been today's episode of the Unpopular Podcast. I appreciate you guys. If you want an Unpopular Podcast shirt, hoodie, joggers, sweater, long sleeve, the link in the description below. It's about to start getting cold, so get your hoodies, get your sweaters. Hey, man, go get your Unpopular Podcast merch today. I have multiple different designs, multiple different colors. Get yours today. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so anything will help. Again, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And until next time, much love.